Modern shopping malls are big, bright, and built for profit. They aren't designed to just serve demand. They create it. In Finland, their history goes back to shopping centers built in the 1960s to serve the needs of growing suburbs. I spent 2 days traveling across the Helsinki area to visit 6 shopping centers from the 60s. I didn't know exactly what would be waiting for me, but the suburb of Tapiola welcomed me nevertheless. But first, I needed to go in the right direction. Let's rewind. I came too late. It was already wrapped up. I had anticipated it, I just wasn't sure. This shopping center is Heikintori, built in '68. The building is partially protected and it's planned to undergo a major renovation. I don't know how one is to explore old shopping centers, so I just risked my life and went directly into a shady area. There was a parking lot. Next, I'll climb higher. I survived. Seeing the place in person, I can understand why these renovations cost millions. It feels like almost the whole place would need to be redone. There was a cafe. It was open. I tried to look inside, but the view was blocked. The shopping center hasn't been closed for very long. For example, this photo is marked as having been taken a few months earlier. I read that this used to be called the shopping street of eternal summer, an appealing concept for people living in the north. The scale has just changed. Back then, eternal summer meant an indoor shopping street. Now it means indoor surfing and palm trees. This is from a mall called Tripla. Heikki is a man's name, so you could translate this as Heikki's marketplace. There is a glimpse of one reason why old shopping centers are fading away. Let's take a quick look at the area. According to Wikipedia, Tapiola was intended to become a garden city when it was built a few years before the shopping center. Back then, the goal was achieved well. The green and cozy atmosphere is still present in places, even if it may not fully come across on video. There is Tapiola Church. It was built in '65 as hinted by its boxy concrete appearance. It's time to say goodbye to Tapiola and Heikki's marketplace. I left through a newer shopping center called Ainoa, though even this is the old Ainoa. Here is the new one. Modern, massive, good transport connections. How can Heikki compete? In the 1960s, large numbers of people moved from the countryside into the Helsinki region. They needed houses, so many new suburbs were built. They needed services as well, so the answer was shopping centers. Suburbs didn't have a whole lot going on, and many people didn't even own cars yet. So that's also why shopping centers became so important. After 2 buses, I landed right next to Munkkivuori shopping center. It's the first shopping center in Finland, opened in December 59. So I cheated a bit by saying they're all from the 60s. The right side with S-Market is newer, from 94. This should be the old side. As for the name Munkkivuori, munkki can mean either a monk or a certain kind of donut in Finnish, and vuori means mountain. Monk is probably closer to truth, but I think we should call this place Donut Mountain. I went to Fatser Cafe. Donut Mountain or not, I just had a quiche. Back to exploring. Also, did you notice the cat? She actually had two. Fatser Cafe was bustling and the place seems ordinary in a nice way. You don't need a map to navigate here. Next, we shall do an inside inspection. The interior is relatively small, here is part of it. It does have an escalator. The stairs would have been faster, so while we are traveling. A metro station was planned here and this underground area was built for it. The metro never came, but the liquor store did. There are old pictures on the wall. There are old pictures of the place on the wall. There used to be a pyramid-shaped grill kiosk on the courtyard, but sadly it was demolished. Here is a store Suomalainen kirjakauppa, which translates as Finnish bookstore. I spotted the store still outside. I also read that Fatser's confectionery was among the first businesses here, so I had a historic ham quiche. And let's escalate up again. That's where I came from. Another church! Recognize the boxy style already. Built in 63. They are actually giving up the church because the required renovation would have been too expensive. Expensive renovations are a bit of a theme here. Back to square one. Finland doesn't have very old shopping centers as this is the first one. It's protected and in relatively good condition. I also stopped by a flea market. There were some nice clothes. They are planning to develop this area, new business spaces, an apartment building, and a tram line. On this trip, I needed 2 buses to get in and out of this place. Here is Pihlajamäki shopping center. Pihlaja is a tree, so this area receives a translation mountain ash hill. The shopping center is rather small. There used to be another building at the end of this walkway. That was built in 1970. It's been demolished, however, and replaced by that building with Lidl. So this old section is protected. And, once again, a church nearby. Mountain Ash Hill is also a protected area. It's known for its rocky and forested landscape, which I already admired from the bus. Haha, King of the Hill! We are not usually this patriotic, it was a National Flag Day. The shopping center might look dated now, but at the time it must have felt like something completely new, futuristic even, especially for people moving from the countryside to the city. Back then, you might not have even had an indoor toilet, and now you're walking through shopping streets of eternal summer. This was the modern future! That's enough for today. It's the second day and all the shopping centers are along the metro line, so the logistics are easier. Here we are. It's raining again, but all the better. The more it rains, the fewer people I can disturb while filming. This is Kulosaari shopping center. The defining feature is these kinds of staircases. The shopping center was opened in 1960, so it's almost as old as Donut Mountain. It hasn't been significantly altered, so it's mostly in its original condition. Only one of the staircases was in use. One translation for Kulo is slash burning, so let's call this place Slash Burning Island. I found large old photos on the wall. Sometimes it was hard to tell whether the place was actually closed or not, but there was some life and activity inside. I also arrived at a very quiet time. I still wondered how the businesses are doing. Many of the shopping centers have these kinds of walkways, so they don't necessarily have indoor spaces, but instead you go to the stores through covered outdoor walkways. Though even covered is open to interpretation here. A normal school day? I read that the building would need major renovation. The path invites to explore the backside as well. I'm not an expert, but there's a pattern in the architecture. Low, flat and rectangular. The company that owns the shopping center is once again applying for permission to demolish it. The issue has already been taken to court before. Apparently the property isn't profitable and renovation would be too expensive. It has cultural and architectural value, but it's not protected. Just a stone's throw away, there is another church built in 1935. Since we checked the church, let's take a small detour. This is a small island with some beautiful houses and surroundings. It has many embassies. Iraq is peaking at the end of the road. I also read that many locals would like to preserve the shopping center, but even they may eventually have to accept the force of making money. A familiar story. Rain extinguishes slash burning, but the shopping center's flame is still flickering for now. Many similar shopping centers have been demolished in the 2000s. Some are protected, and people are starting to recognize the historical value of others, but they are not always seen as profitable enough, and renovation is expensive. Even after renovation, retail spaces don't automatically fully meet modern needs. For one, they might be too small. People today want to shop till they drop, so the old shops drop.
Itäkeskus. Tämä juna jatkaa Kulosaareen. Junat Mellunmäen suuntaan lähtevät samalta raiteelta.
Church check! Right at the beginning. Not the most flattering angle for arriving at Puhos shopping center. Puhos itself doesn't mean anything in Finnish, it's just a name, but the surrounding area is Puotinharju. I'll call it Boutiques Rich. The translation is slightly flawed in Finnish, but superbly fluent in English. How can that even grow there? These were among the first outdoor escalators in Finland. The original power source has been replaced by Finnish determination and rye bread. Maybe the most distinctive feature is this circular inner courtyard. Puhos is known for its multicultural atmosphere, and many of the businesses here are run by people with immigrant backgrounds. Looks like they practically keep this place running. When Puhos opened in '65, it was considered Finland's largest shopping center, though the competition wasn't enormous at the time. I actually like the pillars and the wavy roofline. This is the old side, which apparently they are planning to protect and renovate. I think they are planning to demolish the newer side. After some time, I started to feel a little self-conscious about filming, even though I was trying to be discreet. Some people approached me out of curiosity. They were polite, but I started to worry that I was bothering them. Therefore, I didn't film much after that. I was tired anyway after all the walking and filming I'd been doing for 2 days. Next to Puhos, once Finland's largest shopping center, stands the largest shopping center in the Nordic countries by retail area, Itis. So I did what modern people do. I went to a large shiny shopping mall, returned to the same cafe chain as the previous day, and ordered the same quiche, this time spinach feta. Only one more to go. I must persevere. The last stop, Kontula. It has a reputation for being a little rough around the edges. I still arrived with an open mind, but of course I had to immediately go to the most secluded corner I could find. It felt a smidge restless, so I didn't film for a moment. They were just minding their own business though. This place also has an old and a new side. I think the new side is the beige one, showing here. It was built in the 80s. I believe this is the old side, opened in '67. Oh, and we have arrived at the point where making a fantastic translation is increasingly tricky, so you'll just have to take it for what it is. Kontula! I haven't focused on the architects, but this shopping center was designed by a woman, which may well be the reason why children were taken into account from the very beginning. I certainly didn't try to film that, but admittedly there seemed to be more intoxicated people than usual in the middle of the day. In that sense, Kontula did live up to its reputation. Coincidence or not, it was the only place where I saw two security guards on duty. Unlike in Donut Mountain, there were no ladies walking cats around at this shopping center. Only one more thing left to do. After an eventful trip, I went to see the final church. The 2-day rain had finally ceased, and so the journey ends with some heavenly peace. The 6 malls from the 60s were fascinating, deteriorating, and beautiful in their own way. I have heard the expression human-sized shopping center. Modernization brought them to us, and it can also take them away if demolishing is seen more profitable than repairing. New shopping malls generally attract visitors from a wide area for experience-based shopping trips. How could old suburban centers compete with their scale and volume, with their allure? On the other hand, when something becomes old and rare enough, it starts to be appreciated. Surroundings have changed, and perhaps the shopping centers will also find new ways to adapt to their environment. Or maybe we just need to eventually say goodbye. But for now, they have survived. And I survived them.